So it's action stations once again at the fabulous Circuit Ricardo Tormo here in Valencia, in the Valencian community in Spain. It's a classic venue known around the world, not only for its place with 2 visits on the FIM Repsol calendar, but also, of course, the Valencian Grand Prix, where we've seen plenty of history made. As you can see, there's 9 lefts and 5 rights at this track. Those right-handers can be tricky at times, and it's going to be the stage for a final fantastic Moto3 Junior World Championship showdown. As you can see, the sun is shining. I'm Fran Wild, and alongside me will be Elliot York for this final Moto3 encounter of the day, before many on the grid head on to pastures new in the World Championship as well. And we saw the title decided earlier this morning. If you know the points and the standings before we came into this weekend, you'll know then, without me giving a direct spoiler, who it was. But do catch up if you can. It was a stunner this morning, and we hope to get another one now. And yeah, the stage is set here after a rainy few days of practice. Those fabulous blue skies are now greeting the grid, and after 3 races already, the track is now almost fully dry. And that is the first time we've been able to say that for quite a few days. So it could be an interesting one, especially for Moto3. We saw an absolute stunning victory earlier on today from the very back row of the grid for Joel Kelso this morning. Absolutely incredible stuff from the Aussie. And he actually said in Parc Ferme, it's easier than I expected. So we can hopefully expect more fireworks from the number 66 this afternoon as well. However, we will have another key player likely back nearer at the front, which will be David Munoz, who this morning had a pit lane start for the first race here after a crash in practice that he was deemed to have caused. So he'll be back in the mix. And of course, Danny Holgardo, the pressure is off for all those who are in that championship fight. And it'll be interesting to see how now it turns out when we've got, yeah, just racing for the glory this afternoon more than the points.
Yeah, the shackles are off, aren't they? The
shackles are off. There you go.
Yeah,
you come straight back in with a corker.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating race, isn't it? Because the championship's decided. There's no pressure now. All the riders are going to have to do is go out and enjoy the final race of the season under blue skies. There's a little bit of a cloud about, but we'll absolutely take that after the weather we've had this weekend. And this is what happened. We certainly have. This is what happened in race 1 then. Scott Ogden launched well from pole position and dived into turn 1 with the whole shot. You could see there earlier on today there was wet patches down at turn 1 and all over the track really, but turn 1 really has been the trickiest part so far. So hopefully they've cleared up in race 2. But there he is, Joel Kelso, making absolutely, well, making it look easy to come from the back row of the grid.
Making mincemeat of them.
I nearly did.
Bit harsh. No, it was a truly stunning ride though from the number 66, the Australian, reminiscent of Brad Binder at Jerez just a few years ago when he won from the back as well. Really, really impressive stuff. And there's a few people as well, much like this man here on your screens, looking to make amends this afternoon as well. So we've got Kelso back to the back of the grid, unfortunately. Jose Garcia there got some long lap penalties. He'll be looking to not repeat those. And we had a couple of crashes out of the front group of, Rueda off the front row and Moreira as well. You can see falling there. So they'll hope for a little bit less drama, as will Danny Holgardo. Now the pressure is off. He did enough. He took the crown. And what awaits us now is another final gloves-off showdown for Moto3.
Certainly does. There he was then, Daniel Holgardo crossing the line, I think, in 9th place to take the title in race 1. Exactly how he would have planned it after that DNF in Mazzano. The pressure's now off. He's got the job done after a fantastic season. Celebrations have already begun, of course, but now it's time for his and many others actually final race in the Moto3 Junior World Championship before winter off and preparing for their Moto3 World Championship journeys. It should be an absolute belter, and 3 of those riders are Joel Kelso, 2 of them, sorry, because David Alonso isn't in the Moto3 World Championship next year. Joel Kelso and Ivan Ortola, who got podiums in race 1. Can Joel Kelso really do it again from the back row of the grid? Let's not count it out.
I don't know. I mean, he said it was easier than he expected, so you know, beware everyone else. But
I love the confidence.
Certainly Holgardo will be in the mix this time around. Now those nerves should be a little bit settled. It will be an interesting one. And of course, yeah, the number 64 of David Munoz as well. He'll be up there after he did have that pit lane start, but it was for race 1. So that is now served, and we'll see what race 2 has in store for us. Another 18 laps of... I always want to use the Paul McCartney album title, Chaos and Creation, because that's what we get quite a lot in Moto3, but it's quite niche.
I mean, it works for me, so go ahead.
But no, it should be another great race here for the Junior World Championship. Like I said before, quite a few faces do move on to the next stage in their careers, and one of them will be Kelso.
Certainly will, yeah. I'm really looking forward to this. It's been a fantastic season, as it always is in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. And the gloves are off. No pressure. All the riders are now just out there to enjoy themselves and to ultimately win. And we're going to now get to know Ivan Ortola, future Moto3 rider, a little bit better.
Hello, I'm Ivan Ortola. I am 17 years old. I am in the team MTA, and I'm very happy with the season I did because I bid for all the race, and let's see on Sunday I will try to bid for the title.
Yeah, there he is, then Ivan Ortola, race 1 podium finisher and 3rd place in the overall standings as well. Easy to forget, Fran, that this is his first year in the Moto3 Junior World Championship, and until race 1 he was in the title hunt, and of course he's impressed in Red Bull rookies as well, and he's getting that deserved move up to the World Championship with his current team, Team MTA, who will be making their debut. So really exciting times for both Team MTA and Ivan Ortola as well.
Yeah, definitely. He'll the number 24 will become the number 48 in the Moto3 World Championship next year, alongside Stefano Neppe will be his teammate with that new MTA effort. And of course, this man on screen will also be on that Moto3 grid, Scott Ogden, with another new team in the Grand Prix paddock, the Vision Track Honda racing team in Moto3, and he'll be partnering fellow British Talent Cup alumnus Josh Watley in an all-British lineup there, supported by Michael Laverty's new team.
Yeah, awesome news, wasn't it, for British fans? Of course, Scott Ogden and Josh Watley as well. We've been missing putting our British caps on for a second. We've been missing that step, haven't we? As it's been well documented for a while. Well, obviously, we've had Tom Bufamos, John McPhee, Danny Kent, obviously world champion. But we've been missing that final step from Junior World Championship into Moto3. So fantastic news, great to see that, and really exciting for 2022. Now, Jose Antonio Rueda crashed out in race 1. Good
Those
to see
last
him
4
back.
races there.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a difficult patch, isn't it?
It has, yeah.
For the sorry, I interrupted
go on.
you. I was just going to say for the number 95, not even adding that much to it. But yeah, it's definitely, especially from the front row, it's a bit of a heartbreaker when you do then bin it. And it was just his mistake, easily done, like we said, in those really tricky conditions. But yeah, he did sadly end race 1 on the floor. As you can see, rider okay, ready to go again. So we'll see what he's got on take 2. And we'll see what this guy's got on take 2 as well. Jose Julian Garcia in that Sich 58 racing team. And yeah, familiar face now. He does have that 2nd place finish, but definitely would have expected more, I think, from his own season. And we'll be looking to go out on a high after he did have 2 long lap penalties in race 1, after a bit of pushing and shoving on the main straight with Scott Ogden that gave the British rider quite a wobble.
Yeah, quite a wobble it was as well. It was a scary moment in race 1. You saw on the highlights there, if you tuned in a little bit earlier on. Yeah, 2 long laps for Garcia ultimately cost him a chance at a podium fight. But yeah, he was in the podium fight, and there's Paolo Simoncelli speaking to his rider there. As we now focus on the man of the year, the man of the moment, and 2022 Moto3 World Championship rider. Of course, it is Daniel Holgardo, the 2021 Junior World Champion. Gives us a nice wave and a thumbs up.
Looks a lot different to the mood before race one, doesn't it?
Absolute contrast, isn't it?
Yeah, but obviously you can see from that graphic has been a really incredible season from the number 96. Great stuff. He's also been deputising in the Tech 3 team in Moto3 in the World Championship, and he'll move into the IO squad next year as well, taking the seat vacated by rookie sensation and 2021 champion Pedro Acosta to team up with Jaume Masia next year in Aki's Moto3 team. So that will be an exciting one. But yeah, he's obviously also come fresh from this racetrack in the World Championship, so that's some good experience. Now the pressure's off, the gloves can come off. I think we'll definitely see him in that fight at the front.
Certainly will, and hopefully we'll see more of this rider here, Marco Morelli, making his first appearance in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. He was racing in the European Talent Cup, but has made the step up for the final race here in Valencia. Now, I'm not sure what happened to Morelli in the first race, because he was with the lead group and looking quite comfortable, but I can't remember what happened to him, whether he had a little bit of an off-excursion or made a mistake or... Off-excursion
is my new favourite compound word. No, yeah, he was running up there at the front in the initial stages, wasn't he? So let's see what he's got on take two. That graphic as well about the season does not tell the whole story, does it? It looks like he's crashed out of every single race until here. But yeah, like you said, first time out, so really impressive stuff from him in qualifying and then in the early stages of that race as well. And then we have back in the position in which he qualified, David Munoz. So he could be the runner-up this year. We'll have to see if is that fully decided yet. We did the maths first, didn't we? But there is still a little bit of a chance for Ivan Ortola.
Yeah, I think it's quite a lot of a chance. Ortola was on 133 points, and then gained 16 to David Munoz's 150. So it's really close in the battle.
Very close then. I've not done that maths very quickly, have I, on my run back from the podium? So yeah, there's quite a tight fight then between those two in the standings after that first race of the day. And Munoz as well was the runner-up in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup this year. So he's had a very, very impressive season running at the front in both. Sadly, just that pit lane start penalty really did take him out of that fight in race one. And in race one, this man took 20th place from where he is on the grid. I'm sure you can appreciate he'll be expecting a little bit more, hopefully, from the afternoon. It was a good qualifying, but some serious injury struggles for Harrison Voigt this season. So it's good to see him more than anything. And first, back on the grid.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, it's absolutely fantastic to see Harrison Voigt qualifying in 6th place. Well, 7th place. He started 6th in race one. But yeah, he broke his collarbone here in Valencia early on the season and then suffered a fractured femur in that Portimao crash that brought out the red flags a few months ago. So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic to see Harrison Voigt back on the grid and back strong in the 658 Squadra Corsa team, and hoping to end his year on a high. It's been a difficult year, but there's no doubt in Harrison Voigt's ability that he'll be a strong contender next year.
He will, and I'm sure that David Alonso will be as well. As you can see, the young Colombian added his 2nd podium of the year earlier on today at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo. We were saying that he needs to, remember he's maybe the Red Bull Rookies champion this year. A really impressive season, dominated that, but he is still a very young rider and needs, time to gain that experience. And yeah, really, really impressive race one from him, bringing his form back up to podium contention. Then in the end, a 2nd place with a good bit of fresh air behind him as well. Really impressive stuff from him in the first race of the day, and will be an exciting one for next season.
Here's David Salvador. He'll be moving up to Moto3 World Championship in 2022 as well with the BOE, newly named BOE SKX team. Who's he with?
He's
alongside
with
David Munoz.
Yeah, so they've got an all-rookie lineup in that team. As yet, Ricardo Rossi heads for the other Seach 58 seat. Yeah. Alongside Lorenzo Fullon. Those were some of the last shuffles before we got the final entry list. So it's certainly an interesting one. But that BOE team should be a good place for those two guys. So here we go, the grid then. We've got Ogden, Rueda, Garcia, Holgardo, Morelli, and now Munoz back in 6th place where he qualified, ahead of Voigt, David Alonso, and David Salvador in 9th place. So it's a very talent-packed first few races. Then we've got Matteo Bertelli, Sherifuddin Asman, Ortola, Morera, Agius, Munoz, Daniel, Nishimura, Matsuyama, and Tapia on row 6. I'm sure they'll all be looking for a little bit more in the afternoon. And then Ferrandez, Lunetta, Boiserie, Casey O'Gorman here with the Irish flag, Colin Fire, Josh Watley, Eddie O'Shea, Rossi Attila Moore, not the Hungarian flag in this paddock, and then we have Nicolette Carraro. And then finally, Gabin Planck, Joel Kelso. Yes, that's correct. That's also where the race 1 winner started this morning. And then Mattia Volpi rounding out the runners. So I think the biggest question, other than what has Danny Holgardo got now that the shackles are off, is can Joel Kelso do that again?
That is the question, isn't it? And if he does do it again in pretty much fully dry conditions now, yeah, no words really. But we'll see. It's going to be fascinating to try and watch Joel Kelso come through the field. And we should mention, if you're just joining us, the Moto2 European race was red flagged for an oil spill on the start-finish straight. So that's why you may have seen then just some white powder being kicked up by the Moto3 riders. It's fully clear there is some white powder, but it shouldn't disrupt the riders too much, hopefully, as they launch from the line. 23-degree air temperature. That's the highest it's been so far at all, probably since Monday in Valencia.
Since last year. Yeah, it's been a bit of a chilly week down here in Valencia, but now you can, as you can see, as I've mentioned a few times, it is a really nice day here at the circuit Ricardo Tormo, and you can see also on screen that asphalt now pretty uniformly dry, which is great news for these guys. Other than, yeah, just that bit of a fluid that was dropped on the very edge of the start-finish straight, though. It was a stock 6 runner, did a great job of getting off the line. It was Leon Orgis, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Unfortunately, he earlier ended his season than anticipated, but shouldn't affect anything too much, and we are ready to go racing once again with, as you can see, the championship decided.
1 point in it, Fran, between David Munoz and Ortola.
So your fast maths were great.
My fast maths were good. I didn't just quite get the gap, but yeah, 1 point then between David Munoz and Ivan Ortola. So that's one to keep an eye on as Daniel Holgardo pulls a nice little wheelie before the race has even begun.
This is the start of the race, right?
He's the champion. He can sort of do what he wants, can't he?
Within the rules and regulations,
of course,
he indeed can,
of
yes.
course, yes.
Definitely the day to enjoy this final race of the season for him in Junior World Championship.
Perfect conditions then for the final race of the season. There might be some damp patches still down at turn 1, but it's not really affected anyone since the races this morning. So fingers crossed it doesn't affect them in race 2. Scott Ogden pulling up to pole position, his final race in the Junior Moto3 World Championship. Can he bow out with a podium? Finished 4th in race 1, so just missed out on the run to the line, did the British rider. And there you can see the white powder on the outside of the front finish straight. There's Rueda, the number 95, and there's Jose Julian Garcia pulling up to P3 on the grid as we get ready for lights out. The red flag's cleared then, the green flag has already waved in the background, and soon we'll be underway for the final race of the season in the Junior World Championship. Red lights on, red lights off, and away we go, and it's a good start for all three on the front. I think Rueda's got the best start of them all, though, as he did in race 1. Scott Ogden getting tucked up there behind the Bulban, and Daniel Holgardo is up the inside. Will the new champion take the lead into turn 1? Yes, he does. Sweeps across into turn 1 to take the lead from teammate Ogden, but not for long, though. That's Marco Morelli sweeping around the outside as a lot of riders run wide into turn 1, and Marco Morelli, the Moto3 debutant, passes the champion, but then I think gets repassed into turn 2. What a start.
Yeah, that's a great start from the Argentinian, wasn't it? And it was a bit of a scrappy start for the mid-pack just behind them. Everyone onto the green there on the exit of turn 1, but at least everyone cleanly through and into this race now after, yeah, that bit of a shuffle. But incredible start then from our new champion, Danny Holgardo, straight into the race lead. But yeah, really impressive stuff once again from Morelli, and it looks like our pole sitter Scott Ogden just dropped down into third, and we've got a crasher there. Is that who's it? I think it's Josita Garcia who's gone down in those Seach 58 colours, so hopefully he will be all okay. Not sure exactly what happened there. We joined that a little bit late into the incident. Hopefully then the number 20 will be able to get on his feet and walk away from that in a couple of minutes. But it's getting close at the front. No need to be doing that just yet, Scott. But as you can see then, pole sitter Scott Ogden into third place with a little bit of space behind that top 3 at the moment of Holgardo, Morelli and Ogden.
good to see Garcia walking away from that incident on the exit of turn 6. All okay by the looks of things, but not the way Garcia would have wanted to end his year on lap 1 in the final race, but he is A-OK. Now then, Daniel Holgardo, what a start. What an opening lap for the new champion. There you can see the white powder. They probably don't want to be touching that too much, although it's sort of impossible there, isn't it, by the looks of things. So Daniel Holgardo leads lap 1 on to lap 2. Holgardo's teammate Scott Ogden in the slipstream of Morelli and not quite going for it there. There still is a wet patch down at turn 1, isn't there? So they've got to be a little bit careful down there still.
Have to be a little bit conservative around there for sure. It's just not drying quite as much as the rest of the track. But yeah, as you can see, there's a bit of powder kicked up there that time around, but it's not in a braking zone. It's just straight through, straight line. So track conditions all okay for us to get underway on time. But there's a few interesting shuffles then after those first bit of a lap and a half. We've got Ivan Ortola up into 4th place. Oh, is this going to be a replay of Garcia?
Ooh,
yeah, I
that's
think.
A nasty one.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a hit there, wasn't it, for Josito Garcia? But like we said, we saw him get up to his feet and walk away from that, which is very, very good to see indeed. So hopefully he's okay after that one. But yeah, we have a few changes in the top 10 though, for sure. We have David Alonso not making the hay that he did early on in race 1. He's now down in the fringes of the top 10. And Diego Moreira not quite moved up as he had done this morning either. And Batelli as well. Matteo Batelli, who'd also be in the World Championship next year, he's outside the points at the moment, so he'll definitely want a little bit more. Although he is with rookies sparring partners Colin Vaya and Luca Lunetta. And we've got another crasher then, that's Daniel Munoz, the number 17 out of this race. Rider okay, as you can see, but yeah, a bit of a heartbreaking way to end the season, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like that was turn 10 or turn 11 where the long lap penalty loop is. A classic place to crash really when you're tipping onto the right hand side of the tyre. But no such issues then for your champion Daniel Holgardo, Marco Morelli, Scott Ogden and even Ortola. A great start from Ortola. He came from P12 on the grid, so the race 1 podium sitter chasing second in the championship, and as things stand would do so over David Munoz, who is in 5th place. I'm just on Kelso watch, Fran.
I was going to say we need to go for we need to have a look where the Australian is currently, and yeah, he is into the points already. So impressive stuff once again from the number 66. A little bit more difficult when the conditions are better for everyone for him to really make that huge a difference, as he really did at times seem so confident in race 1. It was really impressive to see, but great stuff already so far from the number 66. Like we said, 14th last time over the line. We'll keep you abreast of #KelsoWatch as we go through the race.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more difficult now the conditions have improved, because all the riders are going to be comfortable in the dry conditions. They're going to be pushing 100%. It's the last race of the season. The shackles are off. And yeah, they're just going to be pushing 100%. So it is going to be more difficult for Kelso than it was in race 1. But nevertheless, he's up to P14 already from the back row of the grid. That's fantastic progress. So the top 4 then have just got a little bit of a gap back to David Munoz. It's around about a second just under. So if David Munoz wants second in the championship, remember he finished second overall in the 2021 Red Bull Rookies Cup as well. So a couple of silver medals to his name before he moves to the World Championship will be a job well done for the number 64. Maybe he's just biding his time, maybe saving his tyres, who knows. But what's the gap between Ortola and Munoz as we cross the line? It's going to be around about a second, 1.3 seconds. So just losing a little bit more time there to the top 4 is David Munoz.
He is indeed. So let's have a look then on Kelso Watch. One more position made up, but it looks like we've had a 2-rider crash from who we can see tumbling down our timing screens between Sho Nishimura and Tachikon Boisri, both ATC guys. So we hope they're both okay. They've disappeared off the timing screen, so they've either had some sort of incident or transponders. So let's see. But at the moment then, it is very much a group of 4 at the front, isn't it? And then just that little bit of space. So it's going to be an interesting one, this, because 15 to go is plenty of time, but everyone really is full gas this Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I thought Ortola was going to dive at the inside of Ogden there at turn 4. It's a popular passing move. So is down into turn 8. Yeah, there he goes. I thought he was diving at the inside of Ogden there. So Ortola then, the fastest guy on circuits at the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, and now he's up into the podium places and chasing Holgardo and Morelli in front of him with Ogden, the pole sitter, now down to P4.
Yeah, so, and you can see that Ogden just having a bit of a look over his shoulder. There is quite a bit of daylight between this top 4 and the guys on the chase, but it can change pretty quickly, especially if everyone's going to start chopping and changing and getting in each other's way. But at the moment, Holgardo, though, looking very, very comfortable at the front, but Morelli looking very comfortable following him as well. Really, really impressive stuff from the Argentinian.
Yeah, debut in Moto3 for Marco Morelli, so this is absolutely fantastic, and we must stress this is the first time this weekend that they've had fully dry track conditions, so this is a venture into the unknown for the Moto3 riders, as David Alonso now gets the better of David Munoz. So Munoz, after coming into the weekend as Holgardo's closest competitor, as Morelli makes a pass, almost stick on Holgardo. It's a repeat of lap 1.
Yeah, it really is. Absolute replay. Do not adjust your sets. They just went at it again. So great stuff from those 2 guys at the head of the field then. Holgardo, I wonder what he's thinking now. He's just wrapped up the crown. He's like, right, I'm here to take back my top step. And it's like, who is this guy? But a really great race so far from these guys at the front for sure. And there he goes again then, the number 97, attacking for the race lead. But Holgardo's got it covered, gets him on the switchback once again. And it's as you were. So yeah, good fight at the front. On Kelso watch, last time over the line, the Australian was 10th. So he's up into the top 10 already. So he's in the group, I think, behind this gaggle fighting for the lead. So yeah, it's going pretty well once again for the number 66 starting from the back row of the grid. Have to see how much more progress he can make. But at the moment, these guys definitely have the upper hand in this battle in Sunday afternoon.
Ortola then up to 2nd place past Marco Morelli. So Morelli's gone from challenging to P1 at turn 2 and turn 6 down to P3, and now Ogden might have a little bit of a bite at the cherry as well. Down into the final corner, looking at the inside, no, not quite this time around. So Ortola's looking good here. Holgardo's looking good here. All 4 of them in the lead are looking good. 13 laps to go. This is a really, really exciting and thrilling way to end the season. And look at the freight train behind that's led by David Alonso.
Yeah, it's a close fight, isn't it, just behind these guys. So that time around, Kelso remained 10th. So not too much more progress made on that one, but he is now in that group. And there's going to be probably a little bit easier to make some progress through it now that there's a good gaggle of riders there and not going through guys that he's usually a little bit faster than towards the back of the field. Obviously experience moving up to Moto3 World Championship next year, you'd expect that progress to be a little bit quicker, but we'll see how he goes then from there on out. But it is that familiar number 96 still in the race lead then, but the equally familiar number 24 now making a name for himself once again in that podium contention right on Holgardo's tail. So
here's a replay of the start.
Yep, so once again, it was not quite the perfect launch for everyone, but this time around it was Rueda who took the whole shot, was it not? No, it was Holgardo, wasn't it? Absolutely sweeping through. Number 96, really impressive stuff from him. Super confident into turn 1 on the brakes, getting the job done early.
Yeah, all the riders safely making it through turn 1. Fantastic slow-mo shots here of the Moto3 Junior World Championship doing what they do best, and that's racing motorcycles here in Valencia as they sweep through. I think that would be turn 3, the left-hander, before they chuck it right for turn 4. Back at the front, Holgardo still leading from Ortola, Morelli and Ogden. Let's see what the gap is between Ogden and David Alonso across the line. I think the gap is probably just going to edge up and up, with these riders not really battling too much. They're not disrupting each other that much. So what's the gap? 2.3 to the lead, 1.8 to the leader. So not unattainable as of yet with 12 laps to go. But it is quite a gap to bridge for Alonso, Munoz and David Salvador.
It is indeed, yeah. So they're in that close trio. Then there's another little group just behind them, which Joel Kelso is a part of, led by Malaysian Sharifuddin Azman over the line last time around, with our front row starter, Jose Antonio Rueda, in there as well. Just lost a little bit of ground, has the number 95, as the laps have ticked down. But at the moment, everyone's lost ground on this top 4 because they really are doing a great job with that gap in hand as well. And like you said, not really costing each other too much time either. You can see Scott Ogden there having another big look behind him to see if they are coming. And they are coming, but it's nothing too much to worry about at the moment, although David Alonso obviously already on the podium today here at the circuit, Ricardo, Tormo.
There's Josh Watley, unfortunately retiring from the race, his final race in the Junior World Championship, before moving up to the Moto3 World Championship. I saw him tweet, say congratulations to Scott Ogden on his pole position, and he said he's just not been able to find a setup this weekend for one reason or another. So a disappointing end to a good season for Josh Whatley. He'll now go into the winter and get ready for his World Championship debut. But back at the front, it's getting busy. I thought Ogden was going to make a move there up the inside at turn 14 on Morelli, but no,
but
he
not
did
quite.
look tempted. But it's as you were. I'm not sure if that gap's going to come down between Ogden and David Alonso. Let's have a look. When they cross the line, it is now 1.6 seconds, so not too much change, but it's coming down a little bit. And there goes Ogden, I think we just saw, going up the inside at turn 1, so looks like Scott Ogden is now up into P3. Yes, he is, past Morelli, and now behind Ortola once again.
He is indeed. So whatever that incident was before that sent Nishimura and Boisri going down the timing screens, you can see now Nishimura is back on our screens in 22nd. So I'll have to see exactly what happened to those guys. But yeah, at the moment then you can see on that graphic, Kelso currently in 9th. And it's Sharifuddin and Asman still doing a solid job there in 8th place at the front of that like third group, little gaggle of riders fighting over that 8th place at the moment. But there's still plenty of distance to go in this one, and we've still got yeah, I think chance still for a few of those positions to change, but they will have to start making a move soon.
I'm going to make a prediction and think that David Alonso might be able to claw this group in and
I
bring
think he might as well.
David Munoz and David Salvador with him, because they're not disrupting Alonso's rhythm. I think they clearly know that Alonso, podium finisher in race 1, of course, has got some speed here, and that gap does look visibly closer on this lap. And although these guys aren't really disrupting each other either, it looks like Alonso's got a nice bit of pace going on. So let's wait and see.
Could it be the first time ever that riders behind have actually agreed to the seat tap? Maybe. It might be history being made if we can look through all of the replays we can find to see if David Alonso did tap the back of his seat and say, stick with me. However, are they just about to prove us wrong? Looks like David Munoz really took it into the slipstream there behind the number 80. Is he going to go for a move? No, not this time around at turn 1. So the Colombian holds on to that. And last time around, yeah, it was significantly less than that gap. It's now under a second. And you can see that number 80 Gas Aspar machine getting closer and closer to the tail of Morelli at the head of that leading group. Sorry, at the rear of that leading group.
Yeah, great stuff from the number 8, and he's bringing David Munoz and David Salvador with him to future World Championship riders.
All the Davids, basically. It's a trio of Davids coming for that front quartet. So, yeah, great stuff. You can see it's definitely visually a lot closer now on our screens, but it is on the timing screens as well. It's not deceptive. They are making some solid progress, and all of the guys in the lead are all looking behind them. So, at least they'll know they're coming.
I think Ogden there was just like, stop looking behind you guys, like giving it all like head nod, because both Holgardo and Ortola turned around to see what was behind them, and Ogden just nodded his head like, come on guys, we need to keep our eyes focused. Ogden's had a couple of looks round himself, but now they probably know that the gap behind has been, well, it's been slashed now completely. Morelli looking behind him, and Alonso is right there with David Munoz and David Salvador. So now we've got a lead group pretty much of 7 riders.
We have indeed. So it's a bit of a Moto3 classic then. Let's see what these guys have got for us. It's already you can see Alonso looking for a move up the inside there at the final corner on Morelli, and I think he's already passed him as well. Yep, on the start finish straight. Alonso also super light rider, so on the slipstream he can really make good use of that. The number 80 you can see they're able to get past. Wow. David Munoz too, a little bit close there to the front wheel of Morelli, and he hangs it around the outside, does the Argentinian, but there will be no space to stay ahead there. But yeah, it's a real fight then between these guys at the front. Proper Moto3 freight train.
It really is, and the top 4 are all Aspar affiliated, because even Ortola was with the Aspar team in 2020 in the European Talent Cup, moved to MTA this year, but obviously still quite close with the Aspar team. So with Holgardo, Ogden and David Alonso in the top 4 as well, this is a really, really good scrap. And was going to say my money's on someone, but I'm not going to jinx it for anyone or anything, because this could turn out in any way, shape or form as Alonso really thinks about going up the inside of his
friendly fire. Everyone just needs to stay a little bit calm now. They have got company in this lead group, but there's still plenty laps to go after this one. 8 full more laps of the circuit, Ricardo, Tormo. But good action so far, but they do need to be careful, because we also have those guys on the chase who aren't that far away at all. That second group with Asman and Kelso at the head of it.
Track limits warning for number 97, that's Marco Morelli. I think when he ran wide at turn 1, that might have just triggered it, even though he got a little bit of a helping hand, to be fair.
But he did hang it around there a little bit longer than maybe was wise.
And then also the number 28 of Matteo Bertelli, who's just behind Joel Kelso in 10th place. So Alonso has overtaken teammate Scott Ogden and is up into 3rd place, and he's in the slipstream of Ortola. Not going to try and make a move at turn 1 this time around. With 8 laps to go, there's plenty of time for Alonso to make his move. Now David Alonso is shaping up Scott Ogden into turn 2. Is he going to go for it? Yes is the answer to that. Nicely done then from the number 64, David Munoz, who is now in 4th place. Yep,
he is. So good stuff then from, currently second in the standings, David Munoz, the number 64 there on the purple bike. So, definitely we thought he'd be a key presence in the race again, and he got that pit lane start underway. And certainly this afternoon is very much back in that fight at the front once again. Not sure what's going on here.
It's Marco Tapia, I think, the Leopard Impala Junior rider.
So back at the front then, we've got a bit of an interesting Aspar 1-2 there. You could see no one wants to bring down their teammate, but you do want to race hard but fair. But at the moment then, it's still very much the Gas Aspar squad in control of this race.
Where will David Alonso make a move? I can sense it coming, because he's made his way all the way up into 2nd place, bridging a 1.5 second gap back from the leaders. And now he's behind champion and teammate Daniel Holgardo. This is going to be a fascinating final. 7 1 corner laps to go here in Valencia to round off a simply sensational season. Is he going to go up the inside there? Cameras pan away, showing Nishimura goes down. I think that looks like turn 6, is it? I think so.
So that's a difficult Sunday at the office then for Sho Nishimura. And they've just blasted past our commentary box, and Holgardo was ahead over the line, but we're not exactly sure. Did Alonso try an attack down there? I wouldn't have been surprised, because like we said, he is a light rider. I think on the slipstream, it could be maybe a good move to get ahead before the straight, because he will be able to maybe keep it a little bit more than some of the taller and heavier riders. But I'm not on the bike doing those tactics. And so far so good, but not anymore, as Ivan Ortola takes back that 2nd place then. Impressive stuff from the number 24, but wow, forced immediately to concede that back. David Alonso not having any of that at all, and tags back onto the back.
That's close.
Oh, Danny Holgardo in the lead, and now David Munoz getting extremely close in this fight at the front.
I tell you what, don't count out the chase impact that's led by Matteo Bertelli. Marco Morelli just looked behind him. What's the gap over line? 1.6, and that includes Joel Kelso, ladies and gentlemen. So we could be in for a proper freight train finish here. There they are, just in the back of your picture. They're not that far behind.
No, they've cut down a lot of that gap. They really have. They've cut down over a second on it just on the last lap. So this could be interesting. Yeah, the cavalry are coming, and this is getting, a little bit close and hot and heavy at times at the front, and they are only going to hold each other up. So if someone thinks they do have the pace to make a breakaway, may they make their move now and try and get the hammer down.
I think that could
be a move from David Alonso. So let's see then if the number 80 has got the full gas to stay ahead into turn 1 with that smaller frame, really good straight line speed, but it's all very, very close there in that leading group.
Some nervous faces there in the 8. The Cardoso Racing Garage, David Munoz's team, of course, in the purple. It's 6 laps to go in Valencia, 6 laps to go in 2021, and the riders know that. They're having a bit of fun up there, and of course they're all chasing that race win. And David Alonso is chasing his first win in the Junior World Championship. So can he do it? He has hit the front. Now what can David Alonso do? With Ivan Ortola behind him, Holgardo, the champion, down to 3rd place. David Munoz in 4th. David Salvador is 5th. Ogden is 6th. Morelli is 7th, and that chasing group is not there, but it's definitely less than a second now.
It is indeed. So they're getting there. They really are close to tagging onto the back of these guys now. You can see that was Joel Kelso just looking behind him, just popping out from behind Matteo Bertelli. And this is still very close in this big group battle there then. So they're not doing each other any favours if they wish to escape. But at the moment, though, David Alonso holding firm at the front. We've not seen an attack coming really from Ortola. Let's see if that will change. But he is a bigger rider, so especially on the start-finish straight, it could be an interesting battle there with the 80 versus the 24.
So turn 12 rounded, turn 13 rounded before we drop into the final corner. With 5 laps to go in 2021. That's David Munoz up the inside, and Ortola's also at the inside, and it's 2 for 1 for David Munoz down into turn 14. What a move from the Spaniard. The team applaud him, and rightly so. He's taken the lead with 5 laps to go, but how long will it be for? That's very close down the front straight between Ivan Ortola and David Munoz, and David Alonso, and Daniel Holgardo now takes the lead with the slipstream. This is phenomenal stuff in the Moto3 Junior World Championship, and is David Alonso going to retake the lead up the inside? No, he thinks better of it. Holgardo back in the lead.
That was some incredible shufflings there, wasn't it? Absolutely amazing stuff. And everybody staying nice and upright as well. Not too many little bits of contact and elbows out. But as they've sorted it out then, it's Daniel Holgardo back in that race lead. And really impressive stuff from him to stay cool under pressure there. That's why he has won the championship this year. But yeah, really great stuff. And old sparring partner David Munoz up into 2nd place, past Alonso then on the chase behind the number 96. And remember, it's 1 point between the number 64 and the number 24 in the standings for the runner-up spot overall.
Strap yourselves in, because this is about to get feisty. 4.5 laps to go in 2021, and the chasing group that involves race 1 winner Joel Kelso have bridged the gap as Salvador there goes at the inside of Ortola. Not quite that time around.
Optimism for sure. But we do have a move a little bit further up. Looks like Alonso's going to get back past David Munoz. Has he yet? Just about enough space there. So impressive stuff from the Colombian rider. Now back into 2nd place. Once again, it's a Gas Aspar 1-2. But I'm sure it will all change again soon enough round here. As a huge shuffle again. Everyone really elbows out for position. And turn 1, I'm sure, will be no different. But Holgardo at the moment a little bit free of that drama.
He certainly is. It's not much of a gap, but it's enough of a gap to him just have a little bit of a breathing space from the chasing pack. It's around about half a second. So can the riders then bridge that gap? If Holgardo gets into a rhythm and these guys are going to keep squad with each other, then it could soon be race over for the race victory. So they've got to be a little bit careful here. Box a bit clever as David Munoz backs it in up the inside of David Alonso at turn 2. We're going to see plenty more of that, I think, in the final 3 laps when they return there next time around. But Ortola's doing his best to reel in Holgardo. I don't think Holgardo is going to pull away really. Ortola looks like he's bridged that gap down to just a couple of tenths now. Yeah,
looks like a really good job there from the number 24 to just dig in and make sure they can tag back onto the tail of the race leader, because I was a little bit worried there for a second as they were all busy getting in each other's way, and Daniel Holgardo just had a nice smooth entry into turn 1 unbothered. But yeah, it looks like we're back in freight train formation then for the last few laps of this one. No, Jorge Martinez Aspar, I can imagine the heart rate's quite high down there with 3 of their machines in this battle at the front. But yeah, at the moment then it's still Holgardo in the lead, but very much now back with the group.
Yeah, the title might have been decided, but the nerves down in the Aspar Gas garage understandably high, because this is an absolutely monumental battle for the race victory. Their man, their champion, Holgardo, is leading it with Alonso in 4th place and Ogden in the group there as well. He crossed the line in 6th place. I think he's just about to get overtaken by Kelso, but it looks like the Australian was in a little bit hot. So where has that ended up? Ogden still ahead, and yeah, Kelso did rewind. Ogden now behind Bertelli in 7th place as the riders then come across the line with 3 laps to go. Holgardo leads from Ortola and David Munoz. That gap has been fully bridged now, so the riders are back with Holgardo. Holgardo threatened to break clear, but it's not going to happen.
Oh, it's not. You could see Ortula then looking like he might be tempted into a move there, but no. Holgardo moving across the racing line and making sure that door was shut. So the number 96 holds firm then, and it's the top 3 in the standings who are the top 3 in this race as David Salvador decides, I'll have a bit of this, please, and moves up the inside of David Alonso as well. Nice move from the number 38 to tag back onto the back of these. He's been almost a bit of a patient waiter in this group, hasn't he? Not getting involved in too much drama. Maybe now the number 38 is like, well, it's time to play my hand because we are into the final few laps of this race.
Yeah, there's not long to go, so if you're going to play your hand, play it now, David Salvador, and it looks like he is doing as the riders dive back into turn 8, then they'll flick through turn 9, turn 10, and then turn 11 is a bit of a passing manoeuvre. Are we going to see anyone try and make a pass stick? David Salvador's going to go for it up the inside of David Munoz and makes it stick. What a move there from David Salvador.
Wasn't it? Classic pickpocket that. Not really
was.
Expecting it and just, oh, there's an open door there. I shall go through it. So yeah, we saw a big look behind as well from race leader Danny Holgardo once again. So not sure if you're in the race lead and you've been aware for a while that there's a big group, what you're expecting to see. But yes, everyone is still there. So we're still getting a really great shuffle there around that final corner as we've seen on the last few laps onto the main straight. Let's see then who comes out on top on the drag to turn 1 this time around.
Holgardo then, 2 laps to go, leads the way from Ortola still. It's P1 and P2 as you were, but David Salvador has made his way up to 3rd place. Safe negotiates turn 1 on the penultimate lap, as do all the riders. That's David Alonso going up the inside of Bertelli. I think, yeah, Matteo Bertelli up into 5th place briefly before Alonso retakes him. There's a little bit of a gap forming between the top 4 and the guy squabbling for 5th place, so they've just got to be careful there. Not being careful is David Salvador, dives at the inside of turn 4, says thank you very much, Ivan, I'll have P2 off you, and now he's chasing the race lead. That
was another great pickpocket, wasn't it? Just unexpected Salvador in the bagging area there, but Ortolo answers right back straight away into 2nd place. So everyone chopping and changing behind Danny Holgardo, but he's not been under attack for quite a while now, the number 96. I think now Ortolo is going to probably try and make a move since he's already starting to come under some pressure from behind. That looked very close as well between Munoz at the final corner, but everyone through nice and cleanly there. Not the final corner, sorry.
Salvador again at turn 11. 2 laps in a row he's made that stick, and this time he makes it stick underneath Ortolo. So David Salvador, this is fantastic from the Spaniard who moves up into Moto3 next year along with numerous guys in this league group, and now he's got Holgardo in his sights. They round turn 13 for the penultimate time. Is David Salvador going to make a move up the inside? He's certainly looking for it.
Maybe not. Okay, so slots back into 2nd. It's getting very close at the front here in this battle now, isn't it? So the number 38 then, the man on the move at the moment, and we're about to head on to the final lap of the season. So it's Daniel Holgardo that leads over the line. Can anyone attack into turn 1? No, the number 96 sitting pretty for now. What about into turn 2?
A big passing manoeuvre is turn 2. Daniel Holgardo in the race lead. David Munoz at the inside of Ivan Ortolo. That's going to be very close. Very close indeed. Oh, he's gone down. I thought he was going to save it, but disaster then for David Munoz, who tried to get up into 2nd place. The team look on. Hopefully David Munoz is okay after that nasty high side. Oh,
hopefully
such a
then
shame
we'll
for David Munoz.
see the number 64 able to get up after that one. That was a big moment, and now Ortolo looking for a way through into the race lead, but Holgardo holding firm at the moment, and you can see that's really created some space for what's now the top 3 fighting it out for the podium, or rather the order in which they'll finish on the podium. And at the moment it is Holgardo in the lead, and it looks like, yeah, he's still holding on to it, but Ortolo looking very keen to try and line up a move here.
Great to see David Munoz walking away from the incident. We'll turn our attentions to the podium fight, the race win fight. Turn 11, David Salvador doesn't make a move there this time around. There's only a few corners remaining in 2021. Daniel Holgardo is leading the way. Can he end his fantastic season with a race win? Ortolo searching for his first race win of the season. So is David Salvador. It's all through turn 13. It's going to come down to the final corner. Even Ortolo pulls up the inside of Daniel Holgardo, makes a move. Stick, does he? Yes, he does, into turn 14. Now it's all about a run to the line. Can Ivan Ortolo hold it for his first win of the season? I think he might do it as Daniel Holgardo pulls out the slipstream. That is insanely close.
We don't know.
Oh, Daniel Holgardo's done it by 22 thousandths of a second.
Wow, what an incredible finish between those two guys. Unbelievably close over the line. Genuinely couldn't tell from the TV picture. So yeah, just 22 hundredths of a second then. And Salvador on the podium as well to round out the season in style. And shout out to Bertelli as well. Really good stuff from the Italian to take that 4th place.
Whew. Catch your breath after that one, folks. What a race to end the season on. And rather fittingly, it's the world champion, the junior world champion, Daniel Holgardo, who takes victory by the narrowest of margins, 22 thousandths. The Ivan Ortola with a last lap, last corner move in 2021 must have thought, I've done it. I've finally claimed my debut world championship, junior world championship victory, but it wasn't to be. It's another 2nd place for Ivan Ortola, but he won't be too disheartened with that. Daniel Holgardo pipped him on the line with David Salvador taking 3rd place. That's David Salvador's 2nd podium of the season. He was 2nd in Estoril in the 1st race of the season, and he's not been on the podium since, but now he has. Cracking ride from David Salvador. Matteo Bertelli finished 4th. Scott Ogden claimed P5. Job well done for the Brit. And on Kelso watch, P6 for Joel Kelso from the back of the grid. What a Sunday the Australian has had. Race win in race 1, P6 in race 2 from the back of the grid. Excellent stuff with Asman, Diogo Moreira, David Alonso slipping down to 9th in the end, and Morelli also slipping down to P10. Whew. Well, that was a rather fitting way to end the 2021 season in the Moto3 Junior World Championship, wasn't it? A fantastic ride, a fantastic race. Ivan Ortola so close to that victory, but the top 6 in that race, Holgardo, Ortola, Salvador, Bertelli, Ogden and Kelso, will all be making their way into the Moto3 World Championship. And judging by that and judging by the season we've had, we should be very, very excited indeed to have all of those riders and more in the World Championship next year. There's 2 of them. Holgardo, 2021 belongs to Daniel Holgardo. Joel Kelso, a 3-time race winner in 2021. But what a way to finish his season on Sunday. Did what he needed to do in race 1, got the title wrapped up, and then he could just go out and enjoy himself in race 2 in front of his home fans, of course, in front of his family and friends. Everyone close to Daniel Holgardo here to celebrate the title with him. And it was the perfect Sunday. He didn't win race 1, but he claimed the title. Ivan Ortola, we've seen a lot more of him in 2022 on a very similar bike. Team MTA making their way into the Moto3 World Championship. Congratulations to Ivan Ortola on finishing 2nd as well, of course, in the Junior World Championship. It's his debut season, remember, in the Junior World Championship, and he's finished 2nd. David Munoz's final lap crash at turn 2, seeing David Munoz finish 3rd overall. A good season for David Munoz. Unfortunately, not the way he would have liked to have it ended, but good to see him walking away from the nasty turn 2 high side. And here's David Salvador and Daniel Holgardo doing some nice burnouts on the entry to Parc Fermé. 5 wins in 2021 for Daniel Holgardo. Absolutely sensational for the Spaniard, who moves up to Red Bull KTM IO in 2022. Get excited about Daniel Holgardo, folks, because he is really one to watch. And of course, in the Aki IO ranks in Red Bull KTM IO, there's not many better places for you to learn your trade in the World Championship. So that is very, very exciting indeed for Daniel Holgardo, Spanish fans and everyone fans of Daniel Holgardo, and just general fans of motorsport in general. Same can be said for Ivan Ortola and David Salvador. Fantastic rides. Not sure what t-shirt Ivan Ortola's putting on, but I'm sure we'll see it in due course. We'll be hearing from Daniel Holgardo once more. He'll be chatting to Fran Wild for the final time in 2021 before taking to the podium. And the celebrations can really start now, can't they? Of course, wrapping the championship in race 1. you've still got another race to worry about, and he's come through that. Awesome to see the emotions down there after a very long and tough season. Just reward for the guys. You can see there to the right of your screen, Ethan Guevara. Before today, he was the reigning junior world champion, won it with the Aspar team in 2020. And here is the last lap instant that saw David Munoz high side out of contention there. I think that was David Alonso who clipped him. That's probably why David Alonso finished down in 9th place, unfortunately for the Colombian rider. But the main thing is David Munoz was back upon his feet. Disappointing, as we said, for David Munoz, but I'm sure he'll reflect on a very successful season. And there it is, the run to the line. Ortola must have thought he'd got it. Tried to cover off the slipstream from Daniel Holgardo, but we've seen that a few times in Valencia, haven't we? Getting a good run out of the final corner, a little bit of a slipstream, and then pulling out and just hoping to get your front wheel across the line before your competitor. And yeah, Ortola knew it as well as soon as they crossed the line. And there he is, Holgardo, celebrating in front of the fans here. Perfect way to end the season here in Valencia in front of the fans. There's the Gas Aspar team celebrating their rider's victory, and there's some of the riders, Joel Kelso, doing a nice little burnout as well. And I think we can go downstairs. Fran Wild is with Daniel Holgardo.
Well, Danny, you wrapped up the championship this morning with a few points that you needed, but this afternoon, back on the top step, stunning victory. Talk us through your Sunday.
Today is the best day of my life, Amazing. Thanks to my team for the amazing job this weekend. In the last lap, it's very difficult, but this race, I'm really happy for going with my job, with my lap by lap, and thanks to my family for the support. Thanks to the FIM Repsol for amazing 4 years, and thanks to all.
Bueno, y ahora en castellano también, sí, por favor.
Bueno, hoy ha sido el mejor día de mi vida. Gano el Mundial Junior. ¡Vamos! Gano el Mundial Junior y gano la última carrera con el Team Aspar, que esto para mí es especial, siempre los tendré en mi corazón. Le tengo que dar las gracias por estos 2 años magníficos y al FIM Repsol también por estos 4 años. Gracias a todos y gracias por apoyarme desde casa. Un beso grande.
Enhorabuena.
Gracias.
Daniel Holgardo then, great words from the 2021 champion, and we'll have a look at the race 2 highlights. And it was the champion Daniel Holgardo from the 2nd row of the grid who dived into turn 1 to take the whole shot. That was Jose Julian Garcia, who high-sided out of contention at turn 6 on the opening lap. Good to see Josito Garcia walking away from that one. We had a group of 4 form quickly at the front. That was pole sitter Scott Ogden, part of the quartet. Daniel Munoz crashing out, unfortunately, the number 17, as then the riders behind set about chasing the leading 4, and they did so with David Alonso leading the charge, with David Munoz, the number 64, right behind him. There's the Avatel Cardoso racing team looking on at their man's charge, number 64. A bigger freight train formed, and then by the end of the race, an even bigger freight train formed after that, because the other chasing pack with the leaders squabbling away there. You see even Ortola diving at the inside of David Alonso, and then Ortola having to give way to David Alonso at the next corner. David Munoz took turns leading down into the final corner, but using the slipstream, Holgardo there swept back through to take the lead. David Salvador picked his way through the group expertly. He would ultimately finish on the podium just for the 2nd time this season before making his way up to Moto3. And then drama on the last lap for David Munoz. I thought he might have saved it, but then contact just at the end there with David Alonso saw David Munoz crash. Thankfully, he was able to walk away, and this was the run to the line. Ortola thought he'd had it done at the final corner, but the junior world champion in 2021, Daniel Holgardo, had better ideas. He came across the line to win for the 5th time this season. A perfect Sunday for the number 96 as he wraps up the title in race 1 and claims victory in race 2. The perfect send-off into the Moto3 World Championship. Here's the final results then from the final race of the season. Holgardo, Ortola and Salvador picking up podium places for Morelli, Ogden, Kelso, Asman, Diogo Moreira and David Alonso picking up top 9 positions. A great race from all of those guys involved at the front. Colin Vaya claimed top 10, Luca Lanetta, Alberto Ferrandez on his Moto3 debut, Marco Morelli, Takuma Matsuyama and Jose Antonio Rueda were the final point scorers. Senna Aegis, Harrison Voigt, the two 658 Squadron Corsa riders in 16th and 17th there. Casey O'Gorman, the British Talent Cup winner in 2021, was 18th. Carraro, Volpi, Eddie O'Shea, Rossi Moore and Sho Nishimura were the other finishers in the final race of the 2021 campaign. Time for the podium then. The last Moto3 Junior World Championship podium of 2021, and once again the Aspar team are on the top step. Daniel Holgardo, what a season. What a season for Gas Aspar. What a season for Daniel Holgardo. Fantastic to see David Salvador back up there. And also fantastic to see Ivan Ortola up there, finishing second in the Junior World Championship. All 3 of those riders will be on your screens a lot more. MotoGP fans, look out for all 3 of these riders in Moto3 next year. Another trophy for the Gas Aspar team. Congratulations to those. Second podium for David Salvador, richly deserved after a fantastic race. Ivan Ortola, second place here, second podium of the day, and second in the overall standings. But it's a day that will ultimately be remembered for Daniel Holgardo's success both in race 2 and in the Junior World Championship. Ortola gets a nice little €400 check as we get set for the Spanish national anthem.
Y ya es el momento de la celebración después de esta última carrera del año.
Congratulations to all 3 then. The only rider able to spray the bubbly is David Salvador. Daniel Holgardo and Ivan Ortola have to settle for some fizzy water, unfortunately for them. But I'm sure there's plenty more podiums to come for all 3. And of course, that's the last race Daniel Holgardo will compete in for now, of course, with Gas Aspar. He'll be a rival of theirs next year in the Red Bull KTM ranks. Hooks all round then on the podium. Good to see the riders enjoying themselves up there. And here is the overall standings in the 2021 Moto3 Junior World Championship. Daniel Holgardo takes the crown with 208 points. Ivan Ortola takes second on the final day with David Munoz third. Joel Kelso claimed 4th. David Salvador in the end picked off P5 with Scott Ogden finishing 6th. David Alonso in his debut year finished 7th. Jose Julian Garcia slipped down to 10th in the end after starting the weekend in 7th after his crash. Diogo Moreira, Mario Aggi, the 2 riders we'll see on the world stage next year. Daniel Munoz, Takuma Matsuyama, Colin Vaya, Luca Lanetta, Zonta van den Gorberg, who wasn't here this weekend. He's testing in Jerez as he begins his Moto2 adventure with NCS, Marcos Ariarte, Josh Watley, Gerard Viru, Matteo Bitelli, Marco Tapia, Marcos Ruda, Tachkorn Brazri and David Real have all scored some decent points this year. Alberto Ferrandez, 10 points on his debut weekend. Job well done for him. Noah Detweiler, Filippo Ferrioli, Fusco, Cruces, Carraro, Clement Rouge and Marco Morelli are the other point scorers in the 2021 Junior World Championship.
They were indeed. So yeah, that's it then. That's the curtain call on a an incredible season of racing in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. And the last before a new era begins next year as FIM Junior GP as well for this championship. The FIM Repsol changing name, and this man changing to pastures new as well, the number 96. He's really been king of the championship this year, the deserved title winner, and we look forward to seeing him next year as well at Red Bull KTM in the Moto3 World Championship.
We certainly do. That's all from Moto3 Junior World Championship action in 2021. Hope you have enjoyed it, but stick around. There's another race to come, and it's a title decider in the Hawkers European Talent Cup.